Here goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
Welcome to the 6th episode of the Playbook Podcast. I'm your host, Myer McNall, my co-hosts are Cash DePinka and Nick Bentley. Make sure to follow the Rocket Productions YouTube channel and follow us on Spotify to keep up with all of our podcasts. So, obviously, devastating loss for K-State this weekend, playing BYU at BYU.
It was a blowout, man.
It was a blowout. It was a tough environment for Avery Johnson. Just really didn't have a good game. Had 15 completions on 28 attempts for only 130 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. I mean, just not a good performance.
Kicker getting all the points.
Yeah, I know. Kicker had 3 field goals. Could have been Tegan Cobb, but it wasn't. Dylan Edwards had 6 carries for 41 yards, an average of 6.8, no touchdowns, and a long of 12 yards. Normally see something a little bit bigger from Dylan Edwards, but I guess it's just how this game went. Then DJ Giddens had 19 carries for 93 yards with average of 4.9. That's the first time he's dipped under 5.5 in the entire season with a long of 26. So obviously just not a good game for K-State. BYU played well. I don't know if they're ranked.
That punt return.
Yeah, that punt return. They're
Fumble
ranked
punt
down.
return.
The fumble punt return, dude. That's what sealed the deal. They put the safety belt on us.
Yeah.
Nick, how do we feel about KU losing? Every Kansas team lost this weekend.
3 games in a row is not looking good for us. West Virginia, Garrett Green came out with 15 for 30, 295 yards with a 9.8 average, and 2 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. Rushing was Garrett Green again with 17 carries, 87 yards, and 5.1 in average with 1 touchdown. And then receiving, Hudson Clement, 7 receptions, 150 yards for 21.4 for an average. And then Jalen Daniels, 15 for 25, 184 yards, 7.4 average, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. At least he got under 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he
that
got
game.
under 2 interception, at least had a touchdown pass. So
Yeah. Rushing, Devin Neal, 27 carries, 110 yards, 4.1 average, and 1 touchdown. Luke Grimm's 6 receptions, 75 yards, 12.5 in average, and 1 touchdown. I mean, that rain delay killed.
Yeah, that
Kansas.
rain delay
That was
is
like
insane.
a 2-hour rain delay.
we sat down and watched the start of the KU game. I turned it off about the third quarter. I drove 20 minutes to the mall, spent an hour at the mall, drove home, and then I watched the end of the game.
Yeah. Like when they said the rain delay, I put on a different game. I think it was like OSU versus Utah. I put on a different game, and I couldn't watch the game because I was at my brother's basketball game.
Yeah. I feel like everybody's team lost this weekend. Utah comes up with a win against OSU.
22-19.
Yeah.
I mean, OSU didn't even score. They scored 3 points in the first quarter.
Yeah,
and
no,
then
that's
second and third didn't score at all. And then coming in the fourth, they scored like 16 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good weekend for college football.
Nope.
But it was a great weekend for the NFL.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tennessee won against Oklahoma.
25-15. Missouri almost got upsetted by Vanderbilt, 30-27.
Yeah, that was really surprising. I thought Missouri was better than that, honestly.
And then USC versus Michigan. Michigan comes up with the win, 27-24.
Just not a good week for college football, is it?
Not at all.
Who is going to win Georgia versus Alabama this week?
I got Alabama.
I got Alabama.
I'm going to take Georgia. I think they're looking pretty good this season.
It's like that Pat McAfee clip. where
Yeah.
it's,
Like
Who's
the
that coming
yeah.
down the tracks? Yeah. Give me Alabama. Yeah, I'll take Alabama on that. When we get back from commercial break, we'll be talking about the top 10 fantasy players and recapping every NFL game. But Barron Concrete has been working locally and commercially in the Rose Hill area since 1980. They've been a part of major projects in the Rose Hill, Wichita area that have helped shape the community we know of today. If you have any questions, please contact them at 316-618-6087 or their website, barronconcrete.com. They're open Monday through Friday.
Elite Compression has been offering their service for over 6 years. They fit all patients with lymphedema and chronic venous insufficiencies and make it easier for the patient to live their lives to the fullest. They are open on weekdays from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You can locate them at 10346 Stonegate Street in Wichita, Kansas. You can contact them today at 316-636-7900.
Welcome back to the Playbook Podcast. We just got done recapping college games, so now we're going to head into the NFL. So, Cash, it was a great week for NFL football.
Quite a bit of upsets, though.
Quite a bit of upsets.
Quite a bit of close games.
Rookies finally coming in, hitting that top 10 in fantasy points. Not to spoil it too much, but Jaden Daniels, was number 10, and Malik Neighbors was number 9. So it's good to see them up there. Those are two of my favorite rookies, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison. I just don't trust them that much. But obviously, Giants win against the Browns, which is very shocking. I feel like if they don't have Malik Neighbors there, they just get blown out totally.
I knew the Browns weren't going to hold up against the Giants. I had the Giants winning. I knew the offensive line for the Browns was not going to pay off. And obviously it didn't.
Sean Watson just doesn't look comfortable out there. He doesn't look like his former self. Should have kept Baker Mayfield. Packers went against the Titans 30-14. That's pretty much a shocker since they didn't even have Jordan Love. They had Malik Willis. I feel like the Titans are regretting getting rid of him for a 7th-round pick.
Then again, it's a Titans team.
Yeah, that's
true. They haven't looked good all season.
Bears lose against the Colts.
Not really surprised there.
Not a surprise, but I thought Caleb Williams would look a little bit better.
And it was probably a little too close for the Colts.
But talk about Sam Darnold. Holy cow. 34-7 against the Texans. Sam Darnold is leading this offense.
They're looking like a great playoff team.
They are looking like a great team.
We'll see how they hold up in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Texans, are they frauds, though? Are they frauds?
I think they can make it to the playoffs, though.
I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, you got C.J. Stroud at the head. I don't know. We'll see. Eagles win 15-12 against the Saints. I had the Saints in this one. I thought the Saints looked really good. But Derek Carr finished with 8 fantasy points, so not looking good. Chargers lose 10-20 against the Steelers. Denver wins 26-7 against the Bucs. I don't think anyone predicted that.
No.
Panthers win 36-22 as Andy Dalton as their quarterback.
I hate to say it, but it was Bryce Young.
I don't feel like it was.
No.
I feel like Bryce Young can do well. Just get him in a system.
We'll see throughout the rest of the season.
Dolphins lose 3-24 against the Seahawks.
Jesus.
Ever since Tua's been gone,
Yeah.
just
I think that
been going
proves Tua
downhill.
is not a system quarterback. Tua is an elite quarterback in the NFL. Ravens win 28-25, partly to Derrick Henry's 3 touchdowns.
Cowboys started making a comeback. I was watching it live.
Yeah.
They got that onside kick. They got the touchdown. And then
49ers lose 24-27 against the Rams. Kyron Williams going crazy for 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 1 on the ground. Or on receiving.
how about Juwan Jennings?
Juwan Jennings is an absolute dog. Chiefs win 22-17 against the Falcons.
Probably a little too close.
A little
for
too
the
close,
Chiefs.
but it's fine. Lions win 20-13 against the Cardinals. Commanders win 38-33 at the Bengals, and that drops the Bengals to 0-3. But Commanders are dogs, low-key. Playoff team right here. I think they are.
They're looking more like a retirement home than a playoff team.
They signed Austin Eckler and Bobby Wagner, and they have a combined age of like 57 or something like that. Now time for our top 10 fantasy players. Cash, who would you think is at the top of this list? I'm going to hide it from you. Who do you think is at the top of this list?
Well, I know Juwan Jennings had 3 touchdowns and a ton of receiving yards. And I know Kyron Kyron Williams did pretty good. So, but I'm gonna have to stick with Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings
He had a
had
great game.
46.5 fantasy points. That's the most we've had all season so far for 11 receptions, 175 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Doesn't get any better from that as a third-string receiver.
Jeez.
I just think that proves how not needed Brandon Ayuk is in this offense. I feel like they could have traded him for a package. Maybe got Ricky Parcell in there a little bit more, but they did what they did. Shaquan Barkley had 33 points, 147 yards, 9 catches, and 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams had 31 points, 2 touchdowns, and 1 receiving touchdown, and had 89 yards on the ground. Josh Allen in that 4 spot. This is the second time he's made the list. He had 31 points, 263 passing yards, and 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry had 30 points, 151 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Jamar Chase had 29 points, 118 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Rashee Rice actually did living up to that expectation he has. 29 points, 12 receptions, 110 yards, and 1 touchdown. Dak Prescott finally getting up here in this list. I feel like he's an elite quarterback, MVP candidate right now. So we'll see how that keeps going. He had 28 points, 379 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown.
I feel like if him and Dallas didn't start making a comeback there, he's not even in this top 10
Oh,
list.
no, he's not. He's not. Now time for the 2 favorite rookies. Malik Neighbors had 28 points, 8 catches, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He just proved that he's new Odell Beckham. Elite route runner, elite catching threat. I just feel like he's...
Will he be the next to change recess football?
Jaden Daniels had 28 points, 254 yards, and 2 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. So that means Jaden Daniels has double the amount of touchdowns as any other rookie QB. So how do we feel about that?
The completion percentage, though?
He's been playing pretty well. I mean,
He had 90%?
Yeah, he had 90%. And a QBR, almost a perfect QBR. So that's...
He's already looking like a franchise quarterback.
He is a franchise quarterback. I feel like he's the RG3 that the Commanders never got, or the Redskins never got.
Do you think he will, by the end of his career, do you think he would be better than Caleb Williams?
Personally, I think Caleb Williams will not play as well. I mean, he's used to...
It'll really just depend what utilities the Bears can get in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, and Jaden Daniels, I feel like he's just going to be a solid quarterback in the NFL for years to come. I feel like he'll be that solid quarterback that nobody ever wants to get rid of. They're not going to let him. They're going to sign him to a big deal. I just feel like he's a franchise quarterback for them. I feel like he's the first franchise quarterback they've had that's going to be there for a generation or a decade. But hopefully he learns to slide and not get hit.
Yeah.
So, Nick, what do we feel about the Dolphins-Seahawks loss? Or the Seahawks loss?
Brutal. That's all I really have to say.
Yeah.
The Dolphins need to figure something out.
Yes.
That's just me, though.
Skylar Thompson has not figured it out. They should have traded for somebody. Traded for Desmond Ridder or something.
I was expecting it to be at least a closer game.
Yeah, for
not a
real.
blowout.
I feel like these are 2 similar franchises. Elite system quarterback, elite receivers, solid defense every year. I feel like they're just 2 similar franchises. Has a good head coaching staff. Yeah. All right, thank you guys for tuning in to the Playbook Podcast. Hope to see you next time.